Ladies and gentlemen, we are doing the Insta360 X4 low light test. So I waited for the sun to go down. So the sun's down, but it's not like all the way dark yet. So I think this is a perfect time to start the low light test. So yeah, we're just gonna basically see what it looks like at 8K 30, which is right now. This is what it looks like at 8K, and the camera says to, it's got like a little caution thing on it. So it says to switch over to 5.7K. So I'm gonna do that here right now, see if you see a difference. All right, now we're in 5.7K 30. Does it look any different? So yeah, I wanted to do a quick low light test with this camera just to see what the capabilities are, see if it's any better than the other cameras have. Low light test is always a good test to do with any camera, especially these action cameras because they have smaller sensors. So we'll see if Insta360 is improved at all with it or not, because honestly, it's typical with most of these like action type cameras. Because the sensors are smaller, they depend on a lot more light. Low light usually is pretty non-existent with some of these cameras. So hopefully it'll start changing. So yeah, what does it look like, guys? 5.7K 30. I'm sure it's a little noisy, maybe even a little muddy. It smells like gas. All right, let's crank this puppy on. I don't know if I can do this with one hand. Okay. See, like I was saying before, this X4 does this kind of cool thing where if it's too dark outside, it automatically detects it. So if it's on 8K, it'll tell you, hey, switch over to 5.7K because you're gonna get a better image. So, like I said, hopefully this looks a little bit better than what the 8K looks. I'm gonna switch back to the 8K real quick and see what that looks like. All right, that's what 8K 30 looks like. Same everything, nothing's changed, just 8K 30. I'm gonna switch back over to 5.7K since it's convinced me that it's better. All right, there we go. The one feature I do like about that X4 over the X2 that I had was that 5.7K, you can actually do 60 frames per second, so you actually get real slow motion with the 5.7K, which is really sick. So you really don't have to compromise a whole lot on your like resolution, your overall resolution, to get somewhat of a slow motion, because 60 frames is pretty solid slow mo. Not, you know, quite as smooth and buttery as 120, but 60 frames is great. So I like 60 frames because like you can shoot most anything you want in 60 frames, and it'll still look fine on a 24 frames per second timeline, but then you can slow it down and it still looks really good, really smooth. So, all right, so we're still at 5.7K 60 on my microphone. All right, what better way to test out the low light than a little nighttime one-wheel ride? Let's get this. Oh gosh. 5.7K 60, so slow it down a little bit. All right, 5.7K 30, back to 30 frames. I would say these Insta360 cameras are kind of interesting quality-wise because I found that, you know, they offer like a 24 frames per second. But anytime I've ever used the 24 frames per second on these Insta360 cameras, it always kind of looks like garbage, and I'll show you what I mean right now. So here's 5.7K 24 frames per second, which if I was using like my normal main shooter, like my Canon, this would look pretty good. But I think, in my personal opinion, I think that this 24 frames on these Insta360 cameras just looks worse. I think the 30 frames looks a lot closer to like a 24 frame look. But what do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you like this look, or do you like it 5.7K 30? But I'm gonna switch back to 5.7K 30. All right, 5.7K 30. Go ahead and turn the fire table down just a little bit. Well, we're getting close to pitch black here. How's it look, guys? I'm sure it's a lot more muddy, a lot more noisy. But for my final little bit of the video, I know this was a short video, guys. Short and quick, gives you a lot of information, or honestly, these low light videos, it's like you tested with some low light and what else do you do, honestly? So, well, just let me know what you guys think about it below, how I can make this video better. And just if you like this kind of content, if you want to keep seeing low light videos with the different cameras that we show on the channel. The last part of the test, we're gonna turn these pool lights on, which is pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Oh gosh. That makes you feel old. All right, let's go ahead and put this boy on party mode. Here we go. Now, let's go ahead and ride the one wheel around that. That'll be pretty sick. Oh, well, let's try it again. There we go. So funny holding this selfie stick up at this angle. I feel like I should have like the American flag hanging off of it or something. You know what, why don't we get this in slow motion? 5.7K 60. All right, that about wraps it up for Insta360 X4 low light test. Just a couple of different type of look, fire and the one wheel and the pool. Depending on the situation, you're gonna be using the camera. Obviously, I'm not using any type of studio lighting, no like little aperture light, nothing. I'm using absolutely nothing. So if this looks really good or really bad, it'll give you a good indication of the type of equipment that you might need to use if you want to use this thing in low light, or if you have a certain type of shot you need to use it in low light for, or if you're shooting at nighttime, seen by a pool or by a fire, this will give you a good idea whether or not it'll actually work. So, all right guys, if you got any suggestions, comments, anything like that, post them in the comment box below. Subscribe to the channel because I got a lot more X4 videos coming up, because I'm trying to do like an in-depth review on this thing. So I'm gonna do a couple more probably quick in and out videos like this because I'm testing out different features. But so if you guys got any suggestions, anything you want to see specifically about this camera, put them in the comment box below. I'll see you guys next time. See ya. Single lens mode now, 4K 60. Let's try to change it to a different frame so I'm right in the front of the pool. Let's try to change it to a 4K 30, see if that helps. All right, 4K 30, doesn't help at all. Like at all, it's basically black. So it gives you guys a good idea what single lens mode is gonna look like. This concludes the low light test. All right, guys.